Welcome to Blindwell Farm, North Malton, Devon. Each month in Farmer's Guardian we have been following events at this farm, and today we've come to find out more about blowfly control. We're joined on the farm today by Simon Harris, Novartis vet. He's here to tell us a little bit more about blowfly strike and the control measures you can take. Simon, tell us a little bit about the length of the season and how blowfly affects ewes and lambs.
Sure. Okay, I think the blowfly season has been extending in recent years with the warmer weather, possibly as a result of global warming, who knows. But certainly we've had strikes recorded in as early as March, and they've been carrying on as late as in some cases November, which is a significant increase on the traditional blowfly strike season, which probably peaks around sort of May to August. It certainly can carry on after that.
Well, we're about 1,100 feet at the moment, and we rise right up to 1,400 feet. We used to be able to get away with just one dip in July, but now we seem to be having problems right the way through from late May, where we get odd lambs with coccidiosis scouring quite badly and getting struck by flies, right the way through to mid-October, where we get the nasty little blackberry maggots. So now we do a pour-on early season, and then we follow that up with a dip sometime in August.
Perfect. So are the different products on the market to control blowfly? Talk us through the different options.
Okay, there's basically three classes of product which you can use to control blowfly strike. The first one would be the OPs. The OPs are probably the most traditional treatment. They've been around for a long time. They certainly have their role to play. They control many other diseases, but for blowfly strike there's a lot of problems associated with them. There's the competence of dipping certificate that you need to use. There's the issues with the environmental problems that OP dips can cause, and also the length of cover that they provide isn't as long as maybe some other products. The second group are what we call the SPs, or synthetic pyrethroids. Now they certainly are quite useful products. They actually kill the insect itself, so they can be used to treat already occurring blowfly strike. So they'll actually kill the developed larvae. The next class, probably the most useful for this kind of problem, are the IGRs, or insect growth regulators. They don't actually kill the larvae, they actually stop the larvae developing. So they're a treatment that's used in prevention of blowfly strike rather than actually treatment of existing blowfly strike. And they have the longest period of protection, and they're fairly easy to apply. They are simply applied as a pour-on. So really they have a great role to play in preventing blowfly strike in these longer and longer seasons that we seem to be having these days.
Okay, let's go and have a look at a pour-on being applied then.
Sure.
So once you've chosen the product that you want to use, in this case an IGR, talk us through the best way to get good coverage.
Okay, the first thing you need to make sure is you've weighed your animals correctly, because underdosing is a significant problem with all products. The second thing is to make sure your gun's in correct working order. You need to make sure with this product you use a fan spray nozzle. You need to make sure that the nozzle isn't worn, because that doesn't deliver the correct sort of fan spray jet. You need to make sure it is delivering the number of mils that you think it's delivering, so you can use a calibration pot to check it is actually delivering what you've set it to deliver.
Okay, let's move on and find out more about correct application.
We recommend the 4-stroke technique because it provides more accurate coverage. Basically, for any given dose, you split that dose into 4 amounts, and each amount is given as 1 stroke. So the first stroke is from the middle of the shoulders to the middle of the back. The second stroke is from the middle of the back to the rump, and when you're doing that back stripe, you need to make sure it's at least 4 inches wide, and it needs to be based over the midline of the back. And then the next 2 strokes you give 1 to each of the hindquarters, meeting at the top of the rump. So that gives you 4 strokes, and you get good coverage of all the areas you need to.
We're using Click here today. Tell us particularly about this product.
Yeah, I think the key thing about Click is the length of cover, that 16 weeks protection, which is the longest protection any blowfly prevention gives you. With the longer and longer blowfly seasons, I think you need that length of protection, and it just gives you peace of mind. It does bind to the animal's coat without a lot of wool growth there, so you can apply it straight after shearing, and you've got 16 weeks protection. You don't have to bring them back in again after shearing to apply 2 weeks later.
These sheep are covered for blowfly now, and I hope we've offered some insight into the options for different farms and situations to keep sheep safe from strike all through the summer.